BYD growth in 2025 came from their explosion in export as they actually struggle a bit in their domestic sales. Let's start with some of BYD's good stats here from the Philippines, because BYD had a banner year in the Philippines, with over 26,000 units sales, up 446% over 2024. The best vehicle were their Little Seagull and Sea-Line 6 leading BEVs and plug-in hybrid respectively. BYD expect to launch 4 more models in 2026, 2 BEVs and 2 plug-in hybrids. Looks like BYD can surpass more legacy automakers in the Philippines in 2026. It was already at top 5 in 2025. So that is some really strong numbers from BYD. And as I talked about in my Overflow News show, BYD did grow in 2025 and beat Tesla and took the crown of the best-selling BEV manufacturer in the world in 2025. But they did it at a cost of their profits, as they saw their profits decline by 30% even though they sold more units. But in China, BYD didn't actually grow last year. I know we heard from many mainstream media and electric that Tesla sales were crashing in China and it was about to get a lot worse. But BYD actually dropped in sales more than Tesla did. BYD's domestic passenger new energy vehicle retail sales in China declined by about 6.3% year over year to roughly 3.48 million units per Chinese Passenger Car Association data. This gave BYD a leading 27% market share in China's new energy vehicle segment, down from 34% in 2024 due to instant competition from rivals like Geely, Leapmotor, Xiaomi, and others. So BYD is still leading by a big margin, but they did drop in market share and unit sales in China. Their pure BEV sales in China also saw a slight decline for BYD, around 6% year over year, though overall BEV growth in the market was positive. So kind of what we saw with Tesla in Europe is they declined by 27%, while the market was up by quite a big margin. But you just don't hear many mainstream media headlines about BYD sales in China. The slowdown was particularly evident in the second half of 2025, with monthly to quarterly decline driven by a brutal price war in the budget segment. So BYD was actually down 6% in China, whereas Tesla was only down 5% in China, even though Tesla made the refreshed Model Y. So I would have expected Tesla to be down more than BYD, but that was not the case. Despite the lockdown, Tesla dropped less in percentage than BYD did, even though we only hear about the competition is coming for Tesla, but they are also coming for everybody else. And BYD's overseas sales surged dramatically to over 1 million units exported, helping offset the Chinese drop and driving overall global growth we saw for BYD. And this is also why BYD will be focusing on export for growth in 2026, because they are growing extremely well in the international markets, like we just saw in the Philippines, but also in Europe and other places, but are actually losing market share in China. But just like we see with Tesla in Europe, it doesn't mean that they are not leading. BYD is still way ahead in China. But it's not just BYD that is exporting a lot of cars. All the Chinese automakers are exporting like crazy, as Michael Dawn reported. China exported an astonishing 8.3 million vehicles in 2025, almost as many as the US built in total. The rise in export here is staggering, from 1 million just 5 years ago to 8.3 million in 2025. And don't forget, the former biggest exporter of cars like Germany and Japan has never really been above 4.5 million vehicles exported. China has almost doubled that, and they have done so in just 5 years. I don't think the automotive industry have seen something like this ever before.